I would like to see the Prime Minister, instead of always defaulting to really sort of telling the Muslim community off for not doing well enough, to actually recognise some of the work that some of the Muslim leaders are doing in countering violent extremism. For example, in my electorate there's a Holland Park Islamic Society do a lot of work to try to avoid young boys getting alienated and to connect with them. And that's actually, I think, what's really important. Can I say, on the night of the Sydney siege, which was a horrible and awful event that really stopped the nation, as you guys remember, the Muslim community in my electorate held a multi-denominational service which brought everyone together, Christian, Muslim, to pray. And even an agnostic like me went along, Matt. And I think that what's really important is to recognise those initiatives that try to bring us together, because the greatest threat to our peace and security is fear and hate. And fear and hate, wherever they lie, are problematic for us as a community. So everyone who does that work should be acknowledged for it, and it happens across the country. And you know, we need to work together to find ways to make the world a safer place. It's just what we need to do, and I think that we've constantly been doing that as a parliament. But when the Prime Minister speaks, people listen, and the messages that he sends to the community are really important, and the things that he says need to be carefully chosen in this issue, because you don't want to inadvertently, on the one hand, validate hate by people who are just blanket anti-Muslim people, and you also don't want to validate disenfranchisement and hate by people who are radical extremists either.
The PM has gone at lengths, though, to never. He says he doesn't call it Islamic State. Now, some question sometimes the use of death cult over and over, but
he uses Islamist death cult, though.
But Islamist is
Islamist is not. Islamist is to mean extremist Islam, and I'll say I've got no worries in saying that we have a problem in this country with radical Islam. We have a problem in the Western world with radical Islam. It's a distortion and a contortion of Islam, but it is an outgrowth, unfortunately, of Islam, and it must be combated. And I think we've got to be careful here that we don't not admit the truth of matters too at the same time. Well, the Prime Minister is, in my view, always careful in these matters, and I haven't seen a specific example of him doing the wrong thing here. He's also got a job to make sure that we're upfront with people about what we're fighting here. And we are fighting radical Islamic terrorism.
Extremism. We're fighting extremism, but we also can't, in the fight against extremism, cause greater problems and discord. When the move to get rid of the hate speech laws was on last year in your side of the parliament, I had a woman in my electorate who was asked to take off her headscarf so that a chap could set it on fire for her. Now, we have to be careful when we're dealing with issues of race, of religion. They are difficult issues. Of course they are. It's part of the difficulty that we have in human relations and in not understanding each other. We do need to be very careful about the ramifications of the thing that we do. And I was thinking particularly about last year the Prime Minister saying, oh, it would be nice if Muslim leaders got up and actually did something and did a bit more around this issue.
Well, I think he's right about that.
I think that what is done needs to be acknowledged, though, Matt. I think that is really important, because if we fail to acknowledge the work that is done, then we legitimise those who would like to create the wrong impression that in Australia there's some sort of attempt to undermine a particular religion or ethnic group.